GMAC, GMAC, GMAC. I'm Mike Carterell, your friendly leftover and CyberBrokers community manager.
And I'm Brianna. You might know me as Lady Diamond Hand. I help with marketing ops, lore, a little bit of everything here at CyberBrokers. Excited to welcome the Fizzy officially to Paradigm
Woo,
Live
woo.
this morning.
And he's excited to be here because we got dates and we can talk about stuff finally. This is Paradigm Live, your weekly place to be to catch up on all things CyberBrokers. And I think we got a good one, another good one today, right?
Yeah, we're super excited. We have we're calling him our in-house AR guru, but our head of creative innovation, Ben, he's going to be here to chat all about AR filters. So we're super excited to kind of get into the nitty-gritty, learn more about it. And yeah, kind of, dive into some stuff we could start doing with these awesome filters.
So before we go any further, just in case people are here new and don't know what CyberBrokers is.
So here at CyberBrokers, we're a metaverse-native media and entertainment company, and we're working on building an entire universe. So that's through our NFT collectibles, our content, interactive experiences. We're building a whole world here called the Paradigm, hence Paradigm Live. So we're excited to kind of delve more into all we're doing here.
And make sure to check out our website. We call it the core, cyberbrokers.com. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, cyberbrokers_. And we have two collections currently, CyberBrokers, which will have Pixel Brokers associated with them soon, and our Genesis mechs, which are, well, we'll get to the dates. So this week, we're going to start out with some reminders. The first thing is Discord token gating. We've been talking about it, and the first holder only, what do we call it?
I guess benefit of being
benefit. Thank you. Yeah, utility benefit. There we go. I was struggling for that word.
Yeah.
The first utility and benefit showed up last week for tickets for CyberBroker holders for different conferences, and you should make sure to get token gated because much more stuff is coming.
Yes, and this is another final reminder. Our commemorative NFT, the last date to claim will be the last day in March 31st. Again, if you've participated in any one of our version alpha quests, so any quests that we have done so far in the CyberBrokers ecosystem, you are eligible to claim our commemorative NFT for free. It'll be on cyberbrokers.com/claim. You just have to make sure that you are connecting with a wallet that was associated with one of our quests. It's a beautiful art piece. It's a combination of AI generated art and some exclusive character art from Azamat, who's artist here at CyberBrokers. And it goes through kind of all of our lore in our universe. So be sure to check to make sure if you're eligible for that, and make sure you claim that, again, free claim by March 31st.
Perfect. Then we're going to get into some upcoming dates, and then we're going to get into our guest, Ben, with AR filters. Let's flip through these things quick. So, Pixel Brokers launch date, April 6th.
Yes, we're super excited about Pixel Brokers. Then we're going to NFT NYC. Then right after that, we're rolling right into Mech Assembly on April 17th. Yes, we've got the countdown started here internally. I know everyone externally is super excited too.
We finally got X's on the calendar.
Yes.
Really excited. So each week we're going to start getting rid of the days, and we'll be much closer.
Yes.
On Pixel Brokers, just wanted to let people know I'm creating a Pixel Broker channel in Discord today, and people should come check that out because it's time to start playing some games. Whether we got Pixel Brokers or not, you can get a head start. Anything else we need to talk about for dates? NFT NYC, we can say a time, right?
Yes. So it is Wednesday, the 12th, 3 to 5 p.m. We're going to have a fun happy hour vibe. And we'll have more details coming this week on that event. We're really excited. We've been working behind the scenes on that as well. So really, really excited. Of course, we'll be talking about mech assembly during that. So it'll be a really fun event. We're excited to meet some of our fellow holders. Me and Mike will be there. We're really pumped about it.
I know, I can't wait.
Yes.
So along with that, we also want to say, look out for the newsletter, right? Because that will have important information on how to get tickets for the event.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be sending out a whole newsletter outlining the event times, RSVPing. Again, so make sure that you let us know if you want to come so we can add you to the guest list.
And NFT NYC tickets not required. Important point.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's move on. A couple of other conferences. NFT Miami. There's special offers for CyberBrokers in Discord. That's coming up. It's this weekend. Starts next week. And then Non-Fungible, also called NFT Lisbon in June, offers there as well. And I should back up. Congratulations to the 2 people who won the 8th-in tickets. Amazing value. Thank you, NFT Miami, for those. I'm sure the people that won them are going to love those.
Yeah, that was an awesome prize. I was bummed I would not be near Miami.
I know, there's so many conferences.
I know. But yeah, that should be a fun one. I'm excited to see pics from that.
Okay, we flipped through that stuff quick. So let's welcome up Ben Desai, who is Head of Creative Innovation at CyberBrokers, the guy behind all the AR filters and our internal AI master.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Excited to be here and to chat about AR and AI today.
You want to give us a little background for people who haven't met you yet?
Sure, yeah. Hey, I'm Ben. I have a background for the last 6 years working in social media and all the things that came with that. So a lot of content creation, video editing. AR is a big part of that, with all AR being part of Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They all have AR filters that fall into social AR. And even before that, I was working with AR on projects like Google Glass and also phone apps to do less social stuff back then. But yeah, so it's a big passion of mine, that and VR as well. So I actually create a lot of the assets for AR using VR. I spend time in VR every single day. I am a big VR fan, and I believe that it's going to be a bigger part of the future. It's just a great just way to experience, create, video conference, all that kind of stuff. And and then I've been super into AI as soon as I could get my hands on it. So I've been, I think early last year, got really into the AI art generation, and I just really changed my entire workflow through all these awesome AI tools that came out. And already I was kind of like this, art team of one, and now it's really become that way that I can just do so much stuff with all this tech, and I just love it. And I always look for new cool ways to combine it all together. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I got to where I am today, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah. And we kind of stalked you a little bit, I believe, to find you, right?
True. So what happened is Twitter wasn't one of my main socials, and I had done this video where I had gone from creating an image and using AI to create the image and using AI to animate the image and just showing this process. This is like using AI to make it 3D and using, I just made like a fun video showing all like what's possible essentially with AI and content creation. And then I posted that video on Twitter. And because, like I said, I didn't really check Twitter much. I didn't even have notifications on. I checked in a week later, and I saw that I had a DM from my DMs weren't open. I messaged from Josie. That tweet had blown up. People were talking about it, arguing about it. And exactly. Then you stalked me a little bit to get my email address through, and then that's how you guys found me.
And the other benefit that we have in CyberBrokers is your name starts with a B, or more specifically is Ben. If anyone wants to apply, change your name first, then apply, right?
That seems to be the way, right? It's the
Okay,
easiest.
sorry. Let's get back to AR filters. I'm off course here. So let's talk about the AR filters that have been created first. So there are a bunch available, and they're on the cyberbrokers.com website /AR, right?
Yes.
And so, and anytime you create a new AR filter, it's getting updated there. So it's kind of a repository for go and find, because sometimes you lose them on Twitter, right? It's not easy to find.
Should be our AR hub there over on our website.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so we can add good point. So let's talk about the NFT Paris ones first. And do you want me to show the video, or you want to talk about them first?
Yeah, I think visuals first. Let's check out that video.
Okay, so could you set up what are these that we're going to see?
Sure. Yeah. So we gave out stickers at NFT Paris. If you came by, if you stopped by, we were giving out information about CyberBrokers, and they came with these 2 cool stickers, and we AR enhanced them. So in the video, you'll see what happens when you point your phone at the stickers, and how right away they essentially come to life.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
I forgot we can't talk over the video, so next time I'll add a sweet soundtrack.
Well, thank you for picking Mr. Griff. He's one of my favorites. But how do you create those?
Oh yeah, okay, cool. So I mean, the one with Mr. Griff, right? You know, we have all of the 3D files for the mechs. It's amazing. So it was a real pleasure to create. Anytime I create anything using the mechs, because it's just ready to go. And essentially, for all these different social AR platforms, they have their own tool. So for this one, we used Instagram, and I open up this player called this creator. It's the Meta Spark, and within that, it's kind of setting up a tracker, which was a sticker. So we set the sticker as a tracker. And then I created an occluder, like this box, so that you can't see through the box from the side, which created this depth. And through that depth, I, make it look like the sticker is opening, this gate opens, and inside that I placed the mech. I did some AI generated backgrounds, added a little bit of information about the mechs that move a little bit, added some like little details here and there, and then animated the mech. And in this case, I did that directly in that program because you have all these different mech parts. So like you have the hand of the mech, the arm of the mech, the shoulder of the mech. And so I attach them all to each other. So whenever I move the shoulder, everything below the shoulder moves. And whenever I move the arm, the hand moves with it, etc. So it's just fun adding some like light animation to that. But it was a little bit of course, like trial and error, because I had not made one like that before, which is like always the best for me, kind of pushing, exploring. And for the other filter, which was like the longer sticker, and we wanted to showcase CyberBrokers. So I actually built this little box for them. That's very, it was just similar to the thing that's on our website. So if you go to our website and you're exploring, you actually see them in that. And I made like a box like that because the one on the website doesn't have a back. It's actually open. It's kind of like when you get like a toy, like a vinyl toy, and then on the back there's those like zip ties, but it's completely open. So it was like that. So I said, okay, let me just like build it. So I built one, put the CyberBroker in there, and did a very similar thing. I had it open up. I had that float. The CyberBrokers come out. They're floating. They're spinning, and as they spin, it kind of switches through to give people, especially people who at NFT Paris came by, got the stickers and got to see a little bit about, what are CyberBrokers all about, and see a lot of the art within just one filter, because I had them, rotating through.
So like for like something like the AR stickers, like how does it like pick up to know, like, are you scanning like the actual like image of the sticker? I guess like what else can you put like a filter like this on?
Sure, yeah, anything flat. Right now, they're great at any sort of, not any, but like a flat image. So it's looking for something flat. So you could even put something on your t-shirt, as long as it's like on a flat kind of surface on the t-shirt, or like the back of a t-shirt. I saw some cool ones. There was a person who saw the sticker at NFT Paris and then showed me their hoodie, and it had like wings come out of it, but it wasn't an artifact one, but still. And it was really cool. But yeah, right now they're built for this kind of 2D look. So you open the filter and it knows, oh, I'm looking for the target image, and that target image is a 2D thing, and then you point at it. And the target image needs to be like, that camera is not looking we have these beautiful colorful stickers, but it sees them essentially in black and white. So it's all about the hue. It's all about how much contrast do you have in this.
Yeah.
That determines if it's a good marker or not. And the second thing is, it should be asymmetrical as well. So that was something that when we were creating the stickers and working with the art, I actually was testing it early to make sure, before we had the stickers printed, that it would be a good marker. And the ones that we had, they were really great.
So note to collectors, there are 1,000 of those stickers out there somewhere. They all left. They were gone before the end of the second day. So those are definitely going to be some collector items to pick up. And then the other cool part, I'm not sure if Naz and Omar talked about this, but they brought their NFT slabs over, and they looked almost like the 3D assets you created. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
So they were prints of their brokers inside of glass, with a frame that looked almost like that 3D frame you created, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that was cool because they were filming the filter next to the slab. Like they were doing like a cool transition, and that was awesome.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so let's go back to that. So the first two are available still. If you have a sticker, you can see them. The next two are really if you're at the Eiffel Tower, right? So can you explain those?
Sure. Okay. So Snapchat has this. Okay. So the first ones we did in Instagram, because that was great and it worked for that. But for these Eiffel Tower ones, we moved over to Snapchat, because Snapchat is really good at location-based filters. They have also very advanced tools that they give you. And this one thing with they're called land markers. They give you the ability to, in 5 places in the world, that, let's say, building is already scanned into the program. So they all have different names too. So Snapchat's program is called Lens Studio. So in Lens Studio, you open up a land marker template, and then it had the Eiffel Tower already in there, and then you can do whatever you want with this little holographic Eiffel Tower that's in there. And my first one was the Nico Grau, and I said, okay, cool. Nico's gonna hang around this tower, and that was cool. And then we had the idea, what if we have Mecha Kong? What if he's scaling the Eiffel Tower? And then I just had to try that, so I jumped right into that. I started placing Mecha Kong onto the Eiffel Tower template there, and then animating it. So there's movement there as well. And the funny thing was, I could not test this filter because
you're not there.
I'm not there. and I'm looking at this thing, and I think this should work because everything else has worked. So I'm pretty confident that it's working. And then it turned out, Mike's the best had one of our holders go and test it out, and the Nico Grau one did work, but the Mecha Kong one was not displaying textures. It was like all white, and that took some troubleshooting and a little bit of back and forth also to get a holder over there again to test it. But we got that working. and that was
Yeah, actually
great.
I think three separate holders helped out with that
Oh,
one. That was awesome.
yeah, yeah, saved our butts there because I really was not. I wasn't able to do it. It would have been a little bit too far of a flight for me to jump over there with every test. But yeah.
So there's a little tidbit about this one that I'm not sure everyone saw. You got an accolade for those filters, didn't you?
Um, from
Someone commented on them that was of importance.
Yes, I mean, well, Brianna, like I think you reported that, and you go for it.
Yeah. We actually think Snapchat themselves, we were posting about it. We tagged them, and they like responded with like the eye emojis, like OMG. And I sent it right into our team Slack, and I was like, oh my gosh, Ben, like Snapchat is even
Yeah.
seen these and commented on them, which was really, really cool. Just to like,
Well,
I don't know, this is all cool new stuff we brought out like for NFT Paris. Like this was Ben was working around the clock. This is our big AR debut, and it was really cool to have a Snapchat comment on it.
Yeah,
yeah. And I think,
because go for it.
well, I was gonna say it's probably important to note there's AR filters and then there's AR filters, and what you're seeing here a little bit next level, because you're pushing the bounds in some cases with what you're doing.
And I think Snap would. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I'm so happy, that they were responding, but it makes sense, right? Because like, what are you going to do with the Eiffel Tower? And maybe like the first ones, they made the Eiffel Tower move, like the first ones I've ever seen when that feature first came out. And it's like, it's funny. But if you put your product in any way near the Eiffel Tower, it might not necessarily make sense. And ours makes sense because it's giant mechs. Like,
Yeah.
we were there for NFT Paris.
Yeah.
Our venue is directly next to that location. So it's not even, it made complete sense. And then the fact that they're giant, like mechs, and they're standing next to the Eiffel Tower, and it all just works so well in terms of scale as well. And the filter works so good. I was in like a bus the next day, and I could see it really far away, and the windows of the bus were like a little dirty, so that's why I didn't end up like posting this or anything. But like, it even tracked from so far away. It just made like a little Mecha Kong.
That's
Right
awesome.
on. Yeah, it's been really incredible system that they have working over there at Snap. Yeah.
So there's one more on this list. Want to talk about that one?
The little guy on the right, the Mecha Kong Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking to Josie, and she said, "Well, this is cool, but what about all our holders who can't who aren't going to be there or can't use it?" And I said, "Okay, let's create one that you can place wherever." So it's the same concept as the one where you're pointing it at the actual Eiffel Tower and you have it there, except that you could place it in your room, or you can go outside. You can also scale it up, yeah, it's just one where you place. So it doesn't use the geolocation feature, but it still shows everything. It shows a little Eiffel Tower, and it also shows Mecha Kong climbing on that as well.
So everyone, go try that one out, right?
And that's actually how I was able to test and feel very secure that the other one was going to work, because it was pretty much I was using like very, very similar files and the same techniques. And then I said, okay. And I very confidently said, okay, the Eiffel Tower Kong should work now.
Cool. Okay, so these are all specific to NFT Paris. The next set is all about, I gotta find it, 3D mechs, right? And being able to wear them. So now we're switching from putting them into a location to putting them on yourself.
Yeah, I think these were the first ones that I made when I started making mech filters. It's this really cool technique, also using Snapchat and Lens Studio, where it actually replaces the person completely. So if it's a skinny mech, like the first one is Lone Star, and Lone Star actually has areas like a rib cage where you see through him. So that was the first one I wanted to try, because I thought that would be so cool if you're like seeing, your body is replaced with a Lone Star mech, but you also still can see through yourself in the parts where you would see through Lone Star. And it's really cool tech, because it erases any parts of the human body that are there, and it like contextually replaces based on the background scene. So of course it works better with a less complex background, but I've seen this used so many times. That's what we had set up at NFT Paris as well. So when you came by our booth, we actually had TVs that were displaying, with iPads attached, that are displaying people walking up to the screens or walking up to our booth, and their whole bodies were being replaced with mechs. And even with such a complicated background and people walking behind them, it was still working really well.
Yeah, it was insane to watch it. And so you can use all these right now, right? So feel free to go grab some videos of yourself out in the real world. You don't have to dox, because you'll be replaced by a mech, and post them on Twitter or share them in Discord.
Yeah, I'd love to see these in like the craziest places, where you would not expect to see a mech or want to see a mech. So that'd be really cool.
I remember seeing one. I would think it was Salio, who like was doing push-ups as a mech.
Yeah.
So it not only like catches you the front, it's like literally replaces your body in any position.
That's what honestly threw me off too when I was testing, and I just turned around, and it tracks so well. They're really cool. And it was such a blast to make, because we just have all of the 3D files, every bit of the mech, there's so much you can do with them. So I'm so glad to be, I guess, the first person to be creating AR filters with them, and I'm sure I won't be the last. I'm quite sure there's going to be some holders getting into this stuff as well. So
yeah, because once people get their mech assets, they can create them themselves.
Yeah, and then if some people start making some, mixed mechs with some mixed mechs parts, because I didn't make any of those, so I want to see some like Franken mechs with some unexpected parts there showing up as filters as well.
So what is the difference between doing like a wearable filter versus like some things like with the stickers? Like obviously are they very different processes, I would assume? Or I'm just curious, because like there's so many different things you can do with AR.
Oh, totally. No, that's a great question. So I'd say like the main difference here is what it's tracking. So the first ones that were the stickers, like it all comes like the first step is this is a tracking filter. It's just looking for one thing, like this one square with that sticker, and then I was just essentially building, like putting all the pieces together on that holographic sticker in the program, and then that's transferred to the real area. And with these ones, it's like bringing in those assets, and you're using a human tracker. You're setting up like a full body tracker, and you're just tweaking to as close as you can match the the mech pose to like the body, not a mesh, it's like a what do I want to call it, full body tracker. It's not a skeleton, it's something like that. So you can imagine like this human, there's like a human skeleton, and you're just trying to match that as close as possible. And there's some complexity there with kind of like, all these mechs are fully rigged, and they have bones, and those have names, and you're just kind of making sure that everything matches between the bone of the human and the bone of the and the rig of the mech. So yeah, it's just a matter of putting that together, making sure that it follows very well like it's supposed to, and that everything looks clean, and doing some testing. So it's a much more, I think that one you end up testing a lot more, because once like this tracks to the sticker, you're just like you're just building like a house on top of that. And the other one is it's kind of fine tuning that this mech matches the person that it's supposed to replace.
you're like moving and like, okay, this doesn't work, and then you have to
Yeah,
go.
exactly. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, hey, what does the head look like?
Exactly.
You're in your apartment, like
Exactly. Yeah, all the time. I got the
Yeah,
camera on. Yeah, I'm glad no one's filming here because it must look super weird.
So Ballistic has a good question. I think this is a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the parts of 3D models, because some of the words that we use, we understand what they are, but we're going to have to help holders understand what they are. So rigged means what?
So the rigged is you could imagine like a skeleton that has these bones. All the bones are the same shape but a different size. So those are like these little parts inside of the stick figure, and once you move these bones and the mech comes with it, that means it's rigged. So like that's what we call it.
So it allows the movement. It's how you see them walk, move their arms, move their heads, so as an example, when I wave here, my arm is rigged, to be able to do those actions.
Exactly.
What's a mesh?
A mesh is the outer look of that. Okay, so
Kind of like skin, right?
Well, I guess that's the texture.
That
Okay,
texture,
the mesh. So the mesh is so when you're building something in 3D, which hopefully if everything goes well, I'll show a little bit later. You're building the stuff up, like the shapes, and those are made out of like different polygons, and that becomes the mesh. Like that is the object. Anyone else have it? Okay. It's super weird. I just do this stuff. I do not really talk about it. But
well, it's the 3D model. It's what
Yeah.
defines the shape. The mesh is the shape, right?
Yeah.
And then the texture.
Yeah, the texture is the image that's wrapped around that. So you've built something, you've built this mesh, and you can imagine you're building it up, and it's all one color, right? Like it's like clay. You're popping clay head and. Is this gonna work? I got my Mr. My Mr. Griff 3D print, and this is all like built. It's all built up. It's the mesh, but right here, it has no color. It has no texture, and all of our mechs have beautiful colors and textures, and those are essentially just wrapped around. So it's like when you have like
that would be the skin. Basically.
Yeah, like those candies or like an orange peel, that's wrapped around it, but you can like very carefully in one piece. When you peel an orange in one piece, like that's essentially what you get in the texture. You have this like one image that you have as a file, and that wraps around your mesh, and then it looks like this beautiful, perfect product. Yeah,
I was picturing like shrink wrap. Almost.
Yeah, that's so exactly. Yeah, that's like
perfect.
Exactly.
Yes.
All tight around it.
Yeah. That's a good way.
Just to finish that conversation, there's one more complexity, because we have a standard texture, and then there's textures that come from the afterglow, and then there's textures that come from your part color choices, and all those are getting merged together into one shrink wrap. Great word, Brianna.
Shrink wrap. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, our mechs are definitely complex, and like that's the complexity comes from how personalized they're going to be. Like how Mike you're saying, like people get to pick the part colors, so it's not like we made 50 mechs and we're like, okay, now we're just shipping these all off. Like we had to make sure, okay, when you change those colors and then when you mint it, those are all like they all look great. And like if you look closely at some of the images, we posted some close-ups. We have like little like dings and scratches, and like there's all these little like there's all this character to the mechs, like stickers. So I know that was like a big technical feat. Was okay, we have to quickly be able to color customize, pick the afterglow, and have it the emissive come out, but then keep all that detail and have you mint it. So it'll be cool to see again like how these mechs turn out when they have all those personal touches on them.
Okay, so thank you both for letting us sidetrack there, but I think it's important that people start understanding the terms because they're going to need to understand these when they get their own 3D mechs. One last question here. Brianna, I would like to know if you and Merck are collaborating to make sure that a Nico mech is shown in every possible way and if bribes are going on, because the Nicos seem to keep coming up.
I know. I still am a little behind on making my making like mostly Nico-chan hybrid major gunner mech is my dream mech. But I know Merck has been out there in the trenches, pulling a monopoly almost. It seems like on the Nico-chan. So yeah, I have to say. We've been like able to kind of try on some of these mechs internally. And I will say the Nico-chan is very fun. I was running around as Nico-chan. It was great. So yeah, it'll be cool to see even, like all the different Nico-chan, like the Nico-chan army, how different they all look when you have the afterglows, the colors. I know, I'm excited to get my 3D version of that one for sure.
It's like, yeah, I can't wait either. Okay, we could talk about this all day. Let's keep going back to AR. So Ben, we're going to completely switch concepts now, even though it's still AR, right? So could you tell us the switch here?
Sure. Okay. So with the 3D mechs, we had all the 3D parts. But of course, with CyberBrokers, except for Fizzy over here, it's all based on, of course, 2D art. And then I guess right away, we were speaking of okay, or I think I sampled right away, right, with the Bitcoin gas mask.
Yeah.
I started and I was like, okay, this is what we can do for fashion. This is what we can do by bringing our 2D broker fashion accessories into 3D. So I started making those, and the fun thing is about making them is that I make them all in VR. So I jump into VR, put on my VR headset, and actually model in there. And then I bring those elements out, and as I told before, bring them into the specific program that's attached to the social media platform of choice, and then set those up as normally like face filters.
Cool. So we're gonna get a demo of this.
Yes, it worked before, so I hope it works.
How about this? Why don't I play the video?
Yeah.
And I'll stop the video when I see you share a screen and it's working.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. He's going into the metaverse.
So this is a video of a VR or an AR filter being created. Okay.
We're seeing Ben's world right now.
I think, Ben, you're back, by the way. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. So what we're seeing, I always thought it's interesting that they're being created in VR. So it's not like you're mouse clicking. He literally has the VR goggles on and is moving around the object as he's creating it.
Yeah, almost like I think like pottery. It kind of reminds me a lot of pottery, like hand. Like, so all these filters we've done for like our Fashion Fridays, like Ben has handcrafted them, and you might have seen snippets in some of the videos, but he's been like in his VR headset, like hand, fine tuning these by hand, which is just so cool. And that's how you get kind of like those little details. I think it's just been cool seeing them come to life and all like the work that Ben has put into it.
There we go. So there's the I don't know what to call them, controllers.
Yeah. All right. You guys.
There we go. All right. Perfect. Go ahead, Ben.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Little technical difficulty every time I try to aircast this. All right. Cool. So this is the new something new I'm working on. I brought the beauty of our CyberBrokers. Everything's SVG files. So I actually just separated some wings. And brought those in here as reference. And then I started sculpting this. So here you should actually see my controllers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in VR. This program is called Gravity Sketch. It's my favorite one to work in and sculpt in. And essentially I just kind of followed along with this reference image and started to sculpt. And I can show you guys a little bit about that. So creating my meshes here. And so I'll like bring in a cube and then I start to just stretch that out.
And is the cube 3D, Ben? Or all these?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, cool.
So, and then, you can just kind of like, I'll just, do a real rough just to kind of show you guys what this process looks like and how fast it goes. And then I can change the color. So of course for the wings, I was just matching the color. And then you can even like edit parts of this mesh to have some, divots and I mean, you follow along with whatever you want, but basically you start with these primitive shapes. So like you might start with a cube, or a cylinder, and then you basically just stretch that and adjust that and tweak that and extrude that into the shapes that you want. And I've done that over here. I have also this hat. This is actually also an AR filter. And this is one I did a little different. I mean, you guys, I think you saw it in the video, right? I just brought in this like this. You can essentially bring in a.
Oh, perfect. So
yeah,
that's
like
how you test it out.
Yeah, you can size it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So, and you can bring these in. You can bring these into scale. So, like if I drag it in like this, that's actually a scale. Even so, these wings I made them way too big, but that's easy because you can just grab them and make them smaller.
Do you add the movement or the rigging in here, or this is just creating the model and then the rigging gets added in Blender?
Yeah, just the model. So I just create the model in here, and then I do the colors as just essentially like they're not my final colors. It's just kind of this base, and then I can even add more details in Blender later. So I just kind of like this is just the fastest way that I found to create. It's the most fun because it's very intuitive. It's like you're using your hands. I can actually move my head, right? Like around in order to change the angle and understand what I'm looking at. And like that question that Brianna had earlier, like, is the cube, 3D? Because it is, you can do things for every side. I actually just made a plane now, which is 2D, but I can make that 3D. And then you just, you move around, you adjust things as you need to. You work very intuitively, very quickly. And then you can clean up anything or add certain types of details. It might make sense to do that in Blender later. And normally I'll clean things up there, and then and then move on to the filter steps in the filter program, depending on what platform we're building for.
So this is your favorite way to do like the base, essentially.
Yeah, it is. And because it's called Gravity Sketch because it has this like sketch component. So you can actually come in and you can just kind of like block out, what you want to be doing, and you have this like 3D sketch.
Cool.
Yeah, so like
that's so fun.
Exactly. And then you actually have that in 3D. And the cool thing is, this one doesn't make as much sense for this, what I'm about to show, but like if you were building something like a car, you have the ability to sketch on a mirror. So whatever you're doing, so you can see that these like sketches, like these 2D kind of sketch experience becomes 3D so quickly. So like if I want to build like a rocket or a fish or something, I'm there, already. And then I can use that as the kind of guiding shapes to block that out later. So if I was building something like a mech or whatever,
That's really interesting because a lot of people like sketch first, like on paper, and then they'll go ahead and do the final, version. You're doing both in the same program.
At the same time. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I love it, because it's so quick, it's so intuitive. There's no step that's missed. Actually, every step is building on each other. So even if I was just like to sketch out, wouldn't need to, but if I was just sketching out the wings, I would right away already have them as a mirror. So I already have both wings automatically.
Cool. And so now like those cubes and stuff, that's what you were talking about when we were describing like the meshes, is you take those little objects and you shape them, and they're like the I guess we were saying like the shape around the bones or the skeleton.
Yeah. So you see here, can you guys see these little marks here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dark. Yeah. So the mesh is essentially like, these are the vertex points and the so you got your vertices and your lines, and that's what this is. These are just like essentially planes that are connecting to each other to create this mesh, and that's the building block of everything you're building in 3D, right? In a modeling software like this, and that's what all of our mechs are made out of as well. They're also they're just different planes that are coming together. Yeah.
Now let's take the wings for example. If you wanted to like have those parts flex out, you'd have to create the parts individually and then hook them together in Blender.
Yeah. So these were individual parts, and I just right now grouped them together so I can kind of just demo that.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
So what you would do is you would pick all the ones that you want to stay together, and you could just group them.
Oh, wow.
And now I have. Yeah. So now it's 3 parts. I've just made it so now, even though it's made out of so many parts, it's 3. So then when because I'm actually working on this as a filter, I went right into Spark. Let me turn off this mirror, it's throwing me off. And I essentially just put these like points, each one of these is essentially like this
joint.
Joint, there we go, of course. They're essentially just joints, and they all move a little bit, and they're all, since they're related to each other, this one controls everything that goes beyond it. This one controls this, and this one kind of just does its own thing over here. Yeah, and you just set up those points later. So this process was me following along with the reference image, creating grouping it into 3 objects, and then bringing those objects into AR and just creating some movement. Yeah.
So how long are you in your VR headset, Ben, when you're building something like this?
It's such a good question, because I get so lost in this, and I'm pretty bad at estimating how long things take. Like sometimes when I record the whole process, I found out like I've done things that I thought took a lot longer. It's only taken 20 minutes and stuff like that. But I would say I'm in VR every day at least 30 minutes. At one point, I'm in here working on something, scribbling on something, bringing something to life. So yeah.
And how long did it take to like get good at this?
That's a great question. I've been using this software since 2019. It came out, so a year after I think it came out. And in the beginning, I was just playing around a lot with it. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe I wasn't serious about it. Maybe it wasn't in here as often. I was using Blender more as my serious tool. But a great thing about this, about Gravity Sketch in here in VR, is that it's like super collaborative, super social. So other people can join me in this space. Up to 4 people in this software can work on things with me together. And through that, I've made such good friends. Actually, I have really like close VR friends, and they've that's when I started getting really like good at this, because you end up, you know, sharing techniques super quickly, because you see someone do something you haven't done, or you ask a question. Yeah, I think it's one of the most amazing, that's why I love VR so much. I said it before, right? But this is why, because I think it's the most amazing way to work, like this level of collaboration work. Sure, specifically now I'm talking about 3D, you know, building and creating for 3D, but it's so hands-on. It's so, you know, it's not dependent at all on where you are in the world. You know, the people I work with we're, you know, continents apart, and it's really great. It's just it's something that like they're just here in my space. It's like a incredible connector. Yeah.
And it's not hard to get into this, because I mean it's a piece of software.
Yeah, and it's natural, intuitive movements.
And so the other part you need is the headgear, which is a Quest, right?
Yeah, I mean you can, I think you can use Gravity Sketch on any pretty much any VR headset, but I have been using exclusively like the ones from Meta, just because that's how it's been. So I have had a total of 4 headsets, because I normally just kind of get the newer one. So now I have like the newest one as well.
It's not a huge entry point to be able to do this. It's just experience to figure it out.
Yeah. And I feel like a week in here, you're quick and you're comfortable. And then of course it's essentially like an art form. So you know, of course you get better and better, but yeah, you can pick it up pretty quick because of how intuitive it is. And it's not really scary. There's not that many buttons here, right? Like if I grab this and I can change the color with a color picker, that's not super complicated. Here are some brushes. There's, you know, you guys know there's so many softwares that have so many. You open it for the first time and it's just all of these question marks, probably.
Well, yeah, Blender in general, right?
Blender is a great one. I think all the 3D ones are a great example of that's overwhelming in the beginning, because it's like you're learning a new language right away. And here you're not. Like the first tool that's selected is this ink tool, and all I have to do is hold down this finger and do this, and anyone can do this because this is how we move our hands.
And it looks fun.
Yeah, and it's really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Ben is asking if you sit or stand when you're building in your headset.
Great question. I used to always stand. Like I used to stand and be like, why would anyone sit? And then I got lazy, and I'm glad that I was asked that question, because I want to start standing again, because yeah.
You can thank Ballistic then. Ballistic.
Thank you
for standing.
I'm actually gonna pop back out so I can see you guys.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Someone's also asking if you've noticed a significant jump with the new Quest.
With the newest one, right? The one I'm using, there's a huge benefit in the ability to like the mixed reality mode, so you can actually see the environment around you. If that is a like benefit, like if that makes sense, because you're designing for the real world space that you're actually around, that's great. But now I don't normally use it, because I'm working with, you know, like if I'm working with someone else, the space is normally not important. It's cool to make videos like that sometimes if you have a really cool space, like like if I had a bunch of like 3D printed mechs and then I was working on something else and like positioning it between them, I think that'd be a fun video. But there's not, I would say there's not a huge benefit for the price tag, because it's more than like twice as much as the version before it. And now I can say I didn't really need to upgrade.
Well, and the funny part, I've got the Quest, the lower one, and when you turn it on, you can see through. So I think the feature's there. I think it's like Tesla. I'm waiting for the hack to just give my normal Quest the pro features.
You can do like some things with it, but it's like black and white and the camera is not as good. Like that's the difference really. Like, but you're right. The ability would be there, but just in black and white. Yeah.
Cool. That was awesome, Ben. Everyone's, even in Discord, I see him chatting like, go over and watch this. Go over and watch this. Anything else you wanted to talk about with AR specifically that, maybe something coming up that you're thinking about, or, maybe where should people drop ideas?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I think I'd hear the ideas from you guys. You'll probably report to me so you can let them know if the Discord is best or Twitter. But I'm excited for ideas, and maybe Discord, and then you upload them, and then we know that that's what we have to make. And yeah, I'd love it. So
creators channel. If people have requests, put them in creators channel. I think we were talking about another AR filter this morning. Because is Bucket Hat out?
Yeah, it's on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. We need to add it to that list. It didn't show on that list, I don't think. Did it?
I think it might be up, but I'll double check. I think we have I think 2 or 3 more Fashion Friday items too that we are working on getting some like promo videos for that will be up as well. So lots more CyberBroker items will be uploaded when we get those out. To Ben do the trippy glasses.
This is what I was thinking of. So Ballistic wants, there's a pair of glasses and they have like an X through, I think, one of the eyes.
Like a sunglasses kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll find the layer for you and show it to you. But
show me.
Could you do sunglasses?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. You'll have to refresh. Because I immediately my mind went to another filter, which apparently is not correct. So I will just wait until I have the.
This is a different one. Yeah, this is a different one, I believe. Okay, we'll find you a layer. So there's the first idea.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I guess, Ben, I just have one question, because I think people are so interested about this, and you've kind of hinted at it, but I guess for people who kind of are like, I want to try this, is the best advice, would you be like, to get in VR and like, would you say like gravity sketch and just start playing around? Like, what would be the steps for someone?
Yeah, if you want to build, I would definitely say gravity sketch, because it just works. It's so fun. It's easy. The tutorials are in the thing itself. So like, as one of the menu options, you can just start like literally watching while you're building next to it, which is another amazing thing about VR, the learning opportunities. It's super cool. And it's a free program. It's too amazing for yeah, it wasn't always free. So I bought it like back in the day and then it was free. And I was like, well, whatever. I'm just glad that I have access to it. I'm glad it's still here. And it's amazing. And like I said, you can pop in there with up to 4 people and learn together and have fun and create together. And it's just like, it's kind of like I like to even brainstorm in there, especially when working with someone, because you can just put your, because you know how we do our gestures and our hand movements, but in there you can actually be like, yeah, I was thinking something like this. And then it's actually there instead of just waving my hand around in the air. So yeah, I would definitely say Gravity Sketch is amazing for that. And and if you're interested in AR filters, they're trying to make it as easy as possible, honestly. So if you open those programs, they have templates in there that you can get started by just even changing out some assets. So everything's becoming, I think, so friendly and so easy to get into.
And it's one interesting to note that we're going to start playing in 3D worlds and 3D games with mechs, and you don't need VR, but you can use VR. So it gives options for people. If they really want that full immersive, VR is the next step, but it's not required, right?
Yeah. So I mean, most of them, I think most of these worlds are not. Well, I mean, I think almost none of them are VR only. When I think of I think Horizon Worlds is VR only. But I mean, a lot of these, like I said, like metaverse platforms are super friendly. And then there's ones like Spatial that just, they don't care how you use it. You can use your browser, you can use the app on your phone, you can use your VR headset. And they make it super fun. And I think like being a mech is also, there's some beauty in having that first person perspective of that. So that's why VR becomes really fun. So yeah, looking down, seeing your mech hands.
Cool. Ben, this has been amazing. Thank you for bringing us through, how you create all these. I think it'll give everyone appreciation that, they just see them on Twitter and they don't really understand the details that go behind it, but it's an art form, right?
Yeah, it's super creative, 3D fun process. Yeah.
Brianna, any last questions?
I think I feel like this is super cool and a lot of people are interested in this. So just want to reiterate, if you're still want to chat about this or have ideas, I think the creators channel and our Discord is a great place to go.
Yep.
Bring your thoughts, ideas, anything else. Ben is doing all this awesome stuff. I know Ben is busy, but it'd be great if you have ideas for things you'd want him to come chat about. I just go in the creators channel and we'll continue the combo there. But yeah, thank you so much, Ben. This was so cool. I know I have seen kind of the end products of a lot of what you're doing. So it was cool just for me to even get to ask you all the questions I've had. So super informative. And I feel like I've learned a lot as well.
I'm so glad. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and I wanted to close with a demonstration of what you'll soon be able to do with your mechs. I'm going to use the fizzy for this demonstration, but your mechs will be able to do this very soon. Let me see here. Which dance do you want, Brianna?
I like the one you were doing while the countdown music was going.
This one?
Yeah.
So look forward to doing this with your mechs, and thank you, everyone. Come to Discord. Let's continue the conversation about AR and give us your suggestions. Ben would love to hear them. Have a great day, everyone. Say goodbye, everyone.
Bye.